Welcome to Wisconsin Capital Management's Beyond the Balance Sheet, the podcast where inspiring stories meet thoughtful financial insight. And I'm Carreno alongside Nathan Plumb of Wisconsin Capital Management. Today's conversation is about one of the most valuable investments I think we can all agree on here that any of us could make, and that is our personal health and well-being. And we're joined today by John Hernan, the owner of Degree Wellness right here in Middleton, Wisconsin. And John has dedicated his career to helping people live healthier, live longer, and more active lives through proactive wellness and personalized care. So John, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've got quite a story to tell. Tell us where you're from and then how your career journey got to where you're at today.
Yeah, great. I am originally from the Madison area. I spent 25 years in the automotive aftermarket distribution business. So completely not related to health and wellness at all. Probably a very unhealthy industry, to be frank, but made the transition this past year. I spent my time there building a small company in town from 30 employees to, I think when we sold the business, it was about 165 employees. So it was good growth. It was fun to be a part of that business and that growth pattern. We had a great opportunity with that company where the employees ended up buying the business back in 2012 from the original owners for an ESOP. And we ended up selling the business in 2021. I had a 5-year agreement to stay on, and I made it 4, and I started to get the itch to look around a little bit more, to do something different. That last year transition, I spent actually thinking I would acquire one of our customers. That ultimately didn't pan out. So I started looking more broad and decided that I wanted to do something that I had more passion for and that I was really into. The health and wellness space has always been something that I've loved, enjoyed, loved working out, really intentional about what I eat. So started looking around in that space. Due to my background, I thought maybe it would involve an acquisition. So I found a company in that space in the Milwaukee area, but they were focused on the athlete, just pure recovery. You walk into this place, it was dark, it was dungeony, it was, the male aura spreading everywhere, pictures of Brett Favre, and it was great for what it was, but I really wanted to help more people. So I started looking into just all the competitors in the health and wellness space. After doing my research of all the different health and wellness companies in that space, I found this little place in Jacksonville, Florida called Degree Wellness. And it was founded by Tom and Amanda Lightcamp, and it was a 3-location facility that started actually as a single location, where Amanda started going to after her journey through her cancer treatments. So she had thyroid cancer, and she was looking for something to help with get her energy back, reduce her scarring, really help with her mood. And she found these therapies at this one location, and ended up acquiring it and turned it into Degree Wellness and added some therapies and grew it from there to the 3 locations. And that was about the time we started chatting, and just fell in love with what they were doing, the people they were helping, the breadth of services, and decided to bring that to Madison, Wisconsin, or actually Middleton.
Yeah, so that's, as a franchise, Nate's got a question about just how that all looks and how that works.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of people might not know about the franchise kind of business model. So you're like, I want to start my own business, but I don't want to do everything so you can almost buy a template for a business. And so there's so many different franchises out there. The best one known out there are like the quick service restaurants. So think of the Chick-fil-A, the Culver's, the Arby's. Those are all very successful franchises. So you can actually own one of those. Those aren't corporate stores. So that's interesting to people. The business model is basically like this. So usually you have to pay a upfront franchise fee. So it's just kind of the money that you're going to give to the franchise company. And this is for like the template and how to set everything up. You do have to put some of your own capital into it. And then in return, also, usually it's a percentage of gross sales that goes back to the parent company as well. So it's if you're thinking of starting a business and you're like, I don't know if I want to start off from the ground up. I want to start, 30% of the way up. It really gives you a nice leap forward.
Yeah, that's really good insight. Thank you for sharing that. And speaking to that, John, what is the Degree Wellness origin story?
Yeah, so I touched base a little bit on that, but it's mostly starts with Amanda and her search for getting help with her therapies from thyroid cancer. She owned and operated multiple locations with personal plans for expansion on her stores. So having that involvement, having her attention to detail, her story, knowing that the therapies work, really brought me to the conclusion that this was the spot.
And I imagine you looked at other, wellness or fitness franchise opportunities and just thought, this is aligning with exactly what, I want and believe in for your own customers and your own clients.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some things personally even that I loved about it. I have some degenerative discs in my back, and I was down in Jacksonville visiting, doing the cryotherapy there. It was just a world of difference for me. I got to sleep through the night, didn't have that little ache and pain waking up, like, what's going on. It was game changer. So that, and actually suffer from chronic headaches, which are cluster headaches, different from migraines. But the short of that is getting oxygen is really challenging through the medical system. And we have that available. So when I need it, it's there, and just helps me a ton. So those two, selfishly were things that helped me along the way reach that conclusion also.
Great. May you talk a little bit about the options with funding the business?
Yeah, so if you want to start your own business, there are a cornucopia of options, and usually they're in the form of a small business loan, and there are many different types of small business loans depending on what type of business you buy. And it's really good that you consult an expert on those loans. One type of way to start a business is actually called a ROB, so it's a rollover business startup. So you worked at a company, you started putting money in your 401k, right? You got that free match, you had the power compounding, it kept growing. Ultimately, you want to do something else, you want to start your own business. You can actually, in this type of loan, you actually set up a C Corp, and then you set up your own 401k. And with that new company's 401k attached to the C Corp, you actually end up buying the shares of your new kind of startup, new company, and that's another way to fund it your way. So essentially, you can fund the business through a 401k. The advantages of that is that you don't really have to take any loans, you don't have to pay interest, right? But of course, there's pros and cons to everything. You always have to it takes a little bit more risk as well. So there is a multiple way of starting a business, and I just wanted to bring up that fact because that one's pretty niche.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Nate. Again, we're with John Hernan, the owner here of the franchise of Degree Wellness here in Middleton on the podcast today. What are a couple of fun facts that people just don't know about you, or that you maybe haven't really shared with everybody before that you're willing to do right here today?
Not everybody knows this about me, but people close to do. I really enjoy coaching. I coach multiple youth teams in the Verona area. Baseball, basketball. My kids are involved in that program, and I just love the opportunity to see kids develop and perform on and off the field. Those are some of my best memories with my kids and my friends' kids. And really, it's no different than growing a business. Honestly, you find the person and you develop them as much as you can and try to have them reach their potential. So really something that jumps back and forth well with my skills.
I was going to say, do you think the balance of having those, you're a business owner, right? But then you do these extracurriculars, you're involved in the community. Does that help you as a business owner, having that kind of that outlet right after the day is done?
Yeah, for sure. Helps as an outlet, helps as building community reach. People like to work with people that are working in the community. I always thought I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old. If you can explain something that's complicated like the wellness industry, like you're talking to a 5-year-old, you can do it pretty well. So that helps me prepare for business life.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna let Nate take this
yeah.
next question because it's
That was
health and
yeah.
health and wellness.
Well, from a finance aspect, you really kind of think of, there's a kind of emerging field that's been around for a while. Essentially, health is an asset, right? So I can help you invest in different companies. I can grow your 401k. I can grow your retirement. But if you're not taking care of yourself, your quality of life is not going to be as good. And just tangentially, if you're not taking care of yourself in your young age, your older age is going to be a lot rougher. So it's about a quality of life. I don't think it actually makes your life or last longer, but your quality of life will be really important. So you really kind of think of always investing in yourself, right? So I'm telling you to match the 401k and do Roth IRAs. But you also physically have to take care of yourself, and you can think of that as an asset as well. So. And I'm excited. So I did research for this project. So I'm excited to have John here. So I actually visited Degree Wellness, and I had the same misconception that kind of John alluded to. Like the only people I've seen do this are like LeBron James, and people spend like $1 million on their recovery and things like that. So I was expected to walk in and see basketball players, football players, CrossFitters. And I was actually kind of relieved that everyone kind of looked basically like me. So I found that refreshing. And I found his business very tech forward. Like the technology seems to be really avant-garde and really up there. I think you'd be impressed if you go there. And then also it's very clean and very kind of neat and relaxing space. I think that you I noticed right away. So I tried different things. So they have like a simple like massagers. They sit in a chair, and I had oxygen when they did that. And for the first time, I tried cryotherapy, which I admittedly was a little bit nervous about. But Degree Wellness really kind of taught me what's going to happen. They give you little gloves. They put something over your ears so you don't freeze your ears. And then the really nice thing is they put headphones and say, "What's your favorite music?" And then for 3 minutes, you get to listen to this song, which really helps during cryotherapy because I was a little bit.
We have some pictures of that, right?
Okay.
Well, good that you have that firsthand experience, David, because you're able to really understand, what Degree Wellness is all about and why you took, why your focus was that franchise opportunity versus the others.
I was actually going to ask John if that was a common. Did I have a common experience at Degree Wellness?
Yeah, I'd say that service specifically, most people overly mentally prepare for, and that's a good thing because they can get through it. They think they see the sign on the wall and it's negative 140 degrees and like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But when they get out, they're just rejuvenated, and they have that slow endorphin release where they're energized, and they keep coming back. We have a lot of diehard people that are, I need my cryo every morning to get through the day now. Me particularly, too. I used to drink 5 cups of coffee a day. Now I just drink one a day because I like the taste, because the cryo just gets me through the whole day feeling great.
So might have to be a willing and able candidate to try this transition away from coffee and start with cryotherapy in the morning. But tell us a little bit about the wellness trends that you're seeing and what excites you about the future of this business.
Yeah, I'd say I love the shift in the mindset of the consumer to being proactive. Everything about our health industry is reactive, and it's been that way forever. The big companies want to keep it that way, but consumers are really getting educated on what else is out there that's not the traditional medical system. They're doing their own research. They're excited about their alternatives, and they're willing to try things because they're just frustrated with our medical system. So that's really exciting to see people stepping out of the side of the norm and willing to invest in their health.
I want to talk to Nathan about this because health and wellness, and then the financial tie-in with a health savings account. Nathan, what would you like to add about that and why people should consider it if they're offered that?
Yeah, so people here have HSAs, so it's an acronym for a health savings account. So one of these things that you can do at a health savings account, usually it's kind of provided by the employer. So usually if you work somewhere, the HSA is one of your healthcare options when you're kind of going through the onboarding very quickly at HR. So that's a high deductible plan. From a financial point of view, you can attach your own health and savings account to that, and the IRS says you can put so much money in a year. You can actually, instead, you can use that both ways, or for multiple ways. One way is to actually pay for different medical services. The other way is you could kind of invest it in stocks, and you can actually make it like almost like another retirement account. But the nice thing is that I believe to grip on this, you can use HSA in your flex plan money. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. HSA, FSA. We have the opportunity for people to use that, which is, I don't know, a great pre-tax option for people to really have additional savings on art therapies.
A question for you, Nathan. You know, some employers offer both the FSA and the HSA.
Yep.
Do you recommend one over the other? Do you recommend doing both? Are there limits? I know you have to use all the funds in one. Talk to us about
Yeah, so there's a flex savings account. That's an FSA. I'm sorry to use jargon on you, but for that one, the employer gives you money, but you got to kind of use it up over usually the calendar year. So you got to use up these funds. So usually in December, you see people, get out new glasses and things like that. So it's kind of a little bit of a rush. With the HSA, you really kind of get because it's cumulative, and you don't really have to have that yearly rush to spend the money. Each plan, people have different needs, like they say in finance. So just saying one's better than the other and stuff like that. So if your particular set of needs are X, Y, Z, the flex savings plan easily is it. Or if your other, it's like, I don't have to use this very much, I could pay out of pocket for my medical, then maybe the HSA is a better option. So again, there's no universals, there's no absolutes in finance, and I assume that also is with healthcare.
Yeah, I know we personally really benefited from those tax advantage plans. So
Yep.
It's something that we use in our home, and I'm sure you have many clients that do the same.
Yes, a lot of people like taking advantage of that, especially when they get to that point. If it's a use or a looked at scenario, better way to stock up on some therapies and get some health benefits from.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap with this, John, and you've got such a valuable insight with us today. We really appreciate you coming on board to the podcast. We ask this question a lot, but what advice would you give to somebody who wants to start their own business right now?
Start their own business. It's a great question.
Or maybe starting or working as a franchise.
Yeah, be prepared to spend more time, more money, and test your patience more than you ever have. Starting a business can be fantastic, or running a business can be fantastic, but those comes with the highs and lows. So just be prepared for the long haul. Talk to tons of people that have gone through that process and learn from them. Particularly, I would say it's more important to learn from what not to do. That's probably more important than what to do. And make sure you're in an industry that you're passionate about, because you're going to have some loss of motivation at some point, and then hopefully that passion and the processes you set up can get you through the tough times.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing with us. And we'd love to maybe, keep these conversations going outside of this podcast.
Sounds great.
All right, Nathan, thank you as well for being here today. And thank you for joining us as well. This has been a great reminder that finance and health go hand in hand. And thank you for listening or watching Beyond the Balance Sheet. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget you can be a guest on this show, or someone you know could be a guest on this show. Just visit wiscap.com and send us a message. And until next time, you guys, the most valuable asset you'll ever manage, remember, is not just your portfolio, it's your health, your relationships, and your future. Thank you so much for listening.